What's up, everyone? With MLB The Show 19 coming out in only a few days on March 26th, wanted to do a recap on my thoughts on the show 18. Baseball is obviously my favorite sport, and as the premier baseball game out there, MLB The Show is exclusively available on PlayStation. The reason why I bought a PS4 a few years ago was to play the show 15, which was the last baseball game I played before MLB The Show 18. I bought the show 18 in late May, and this ended up being the only game I played from then until now. I played the show nearly every night from late May until March, and I just took a look at the stats in my profile, and I've spent over 650 hours playing the show. Most of that was spent on Diamond Dynasty, which is the main game mode in the show that lets you build your own team with cards you collect either through opening packs, earn rewards, or transacting through the market. And those hours don't even include the countless additional hours spent buying and selling cards and souvenirs through the market in order to make stubs, which are the main in-game currency, as well as complete collections. When I first got the game and opened up the program screen, I was so overwhelmed with everything that was in there, like the immortals, career arcs, position player programs, team epics, and monthly programs, conquest, that I didn't know where to start. So I wasted a bit of time doing random things before I started watching other YouTubers and trying to be more efficient with completing missions and progressing in the game and unlocking better cards. With all there was to do, I never thought I'd get close to completing most of this, and thought that I'd only play for a few months and then move on to my next game, like I did with the show 15. But I became pretty obsessed with the game, and once I had a strategy in place and concentrated only on one thing at a time, it made progressing and completing programs much easier and quicker. The first thing I worked on was the position player programs, which are flashback versions of current veteran players. These feed into and are required to complete the career arcs, which are mostly legends or retired players. Then the immortals are the best cards in the game in each position and require the career arcs to be done of the players of the same position. The immortals I was most excited to unlock were Babe Ruth and Ken Griffey Jr., which are big reasons why I bought the game to begin with. I finally unlocked Immortal Griffey late last year, and then finally got Immortal Ruth about a month ago, which is kind of disappointing because by the time I had him in my lineup, I was already kind of burnt out on the game from playing it for the last 10 months. So unfortunately hadn't have much time to put him in my lineup and get many at-bats with the best hitter in the game. This year's game was all about power hitters, so it's important to have players with the most power attributes in every position. Contact hitters weren't that effective, and most times ended up making soft or weak contact with the ball. Most of my Diamond Dynasty gameplay this year was against the CPU, as it's just much more efficient to get things done and accumulate the stats needed for the programs. I did play some of the online events more towards the end of the season, but the gameplay is a bit different and much more challenging. I probably didn't help that I'm playing on a larger TV, and even though it was in game mode, there's still a slight lag that online mode made more noticeable, and this affected my swing timing and ability to make consistent good contact. Overall, the show 18 is a great baseball video game. While I love playing with all the legends available in the game, it is deeply flawed. My main complaint was that the grinding required to complete many of the programs. Some of the career arcs and immortals needed 200 hits from certain position players or 200 innings pitched and so on. It just took so long and they were very monotonous, and that part was not fun at all. Another thing I hated was the exchanges, which required you to play the marketplace and buy hundreds of hats, jerseys, and other souvenirs that you couldn't actually use in the game, that are needed just in order to dump them into particular player programs. It took so long to do this as well. Now, the show 19 comes out on March 26th and had Bryce Harper on the cover, and of course he's in his new Phillies uniform. Will I be buying and playing the show 19? Well, the issues with 18 were pretty well publicized from YouTubers and elite players, and San Diego studios seem to have taken this feedback from the community to heart. In 19, there are some major changes. All of this seems good and needed so far. There will be no more long grinding, souvenirs, or immortals. They've added a couple new game modes, general gameplay improvements to hitting and defense, new features like multiple lineups, which should save time, in-game notifications when missions are completed, and when marketplace transactions occur. They're making defense and contact hitters more important to the game and adding more than 1,300 new animations. So far, they've announcannounced 30 new legends, which are the retired players, into the game, including Pudge Rodriguez, Willie Mays, Ty Cobb, Jimmy Fox, Cy Young, Lou Gehrig, and Rickey Henderson. These are some of the greatest players of all time. I love that they're adding older players to the game that younger fans might not be that familiar with. This will really make it interesting when you're putting together your best Diamond Dynasty team together and figure out exactly who's the best at each position, since there will be a lot more variety. Moments is a new game mode replaying historic moments from baseball history, such as Babe Ruth's called shot in the 1932 World Series and back-to-back father and son home runs from Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. New moments will also be added throughout the season as memorable events happen. March to October is another brand new game mode, which lets you take the controls of your favorite team's regular season for only your team's key games and moments, and incentivizes performance with rewards and season-long success. Conquest is redesigned with new maps and challenges. Road to the Show, which is the career mode, is back with key refinements, which include the ability to set your player personality and training mini-games to improve certain attributes. So, yes, I did pre-order the game, and I'm super excited to start playing it next week and check out these improvements with new game modes. So, that's it for my recap of MLB The Show 18 and look ahead to the show 19. Please subscribe if you haven't already in order to stay updated on my other baseball videos. And if you are already subscribed, I appreciate you continuing to support the channel. Let me know in the comments if you're going to be playing MLB The Show 19, what your favorite new features are, and who your favorite new legends will be that they've added to the game. Play ball!